Hey everybody, so I want to talk just really quickly about a couple simple tools that you're going to need to be able to get started with tracking your progress accurately and paying attention to the whole picture of how this is really going to come together. Obviously one thing that most people kind of get fixated on is their weight. And yes, you do need to have a scale. I do recommend that you track your weight. Personally, I weigh in almost every day, and just to be very clear, I'm not paying too much attention to what my weight is daily. I'm kind of a nerd, so I put all this into a spreadsheet, and that spreadsheet will give me a weekly average of my weight. So really what I'm paying attention to is the trend in my weight from one week to the next, and weighing in almost every day, at least 3-4 times a week. Obviously gives me a better idea of what my average weight is, because you got to remember there's daily weight fluctuations just based on, you might be holding a little bit more water, maybe you haven't gone to the bathroom yet based on when you weigh in, little fluctuations like that are just part of the game. So don't get too fixated or obsessive about, I weigh a pound more today than I did yesterday. Little things like that happen. Don't worry about that. But there's a couple other things that are really useful for tracking your progress, just so you're looking at the whole picture. Obviously, one thing that everybody will generally tell you to pay attention to is how your clothes fit, and obviously that is a good thing to pay attention to. That matters. But obviously, one pair of jeans or one pair of work pants or whatever it is might fit a little bit differently than another one does. So that's not always the most accurate way to measure. So I would highly recommend you get something like this. This is called an Orbitape. I think there's another brand called a Myotape. But you can buy something like this on Amazon for I think $10 or $12. So it's not very expensive. Not something you need to pay a whole lot of money for. But do your waist measurement once a week. And make sure when you do it that you're doing it right around the belly button, okay? So when you do this, you're going to just kind of do it standing up. I'm sitting down right now, obviously, but you'll flex your abs just slightly and then take the measurement, so that gives you another element of progress to kind of provide some checks and balances with. Obviously weight can fluctuate. You might not get a huge change in weight one week, but if your waist measurement is trending down, obviously that's a big deal. That's a huge sign of progress. So always make sure to include this in how you track your progress, because this tells you maybe even more than the scale does for a lot of people, for what their goals might be. So these are huge, and again, they're cheap, $10 or $12. Okay. And again, I'm kind of a nerd, so I track this in a spreadsheet. So over the course of a couple of months, I can go back and look from week to week where my progress was, whether it was just a slow, steady drop, or if I had some jumps in progress there. Another thing that can be useful, and I've got two different ones of these, but skin fold calipers. Obviously, if you've seen these before, you're familiar with them. In a lot of cases, if you go to a doctor or whatever, they'll use something like this to test your body fat. And usually what they'll do is, I think they take like 5 different measurements. And it's been a long time since I've had it done. It's been since, high school wrestling. But they'll usually do one on your thigh. They'll do right here on your belly, one off here on your obliques, maybe on one of your arms, and I remember them doing your back on the shoulder blade as well. And then they're able to take that data, extrapolate it, and give you a body fat number percentage wise. You don't need to do all that just to be tracking progress. All I track is I'll do right here on the belly and then back here, and then just monitor how the thickness goes down as I'm losing weight. And again, just going back to, the same thing with the with the body tape to measure your waist measurement, you might not be getting a huge drop in weight, but if that skin fold caliper measure is going down consistently, that's a great measure of progress. Okay. I have a different model of this that I'm going to be using. I got this one, which is professional grade. I was able to get a pretty good deal buying pre-owned on eBay. You don't need to spring for something like that. You can, again, go on Amazon. You can buy something like these. I think I paid $20 for this, so it doesn't have to be hugely expensive. But using all those tools together, your weight, tracking the progress there, along with your waist measurement and the skin fold caliper measures, gives you a whole picture of your progress. Because again, the objective here is to lose fat, not necessarily lose big chunks of weight. Because if we lose big chunks of weight, we're probably losing muscle too. In an ideal world, if everything lines up perfectly, our skin fold caliper measures are going to go down, along with our waist measurement going down, with really very, very little change in weight. That means we're able to build a little bit of muscle while we're losing weight, which is possible. Doesn't necessarily happen on a big scale, but in an ideal world, that's the goal. So pretty minimal in terms of expense. If you don't have a scale, you don't need one of these fancy scales with the body fat measure and all that stuff. They're generally not very accurate anyway. So don't spend more than you need to for all that stuff. Just a basic, pretty accurate scale is all you need, and make sure that when you're doing your weigh-ins that you're using the same scale every time. There can be a little bit of differentiation between one scale and the next, giving you a little bit different numbers on your weight, which can kind of send some mixed signals and make it a little bit hard to track the trend accurately. I think I looked on Amazon the other day. You can get just a basic scale for $20-$30. $20 for something like this, which this is kind of optional. You don't necessarily need to do this if you don't want to, but definitely get one of these. Again, $10-$12. It's not expensive, but plays a huge role in telling you really what you want to know. As you lose weight, everybody wants a small waist. So this is one of the most important things that you can track. Okay.